I'm seeking child support and back pay from this man.
Okay, just straightforward. That's what I like. Just get right into it. How old is the child?
The child is now 3 years old.
3 years old.
And I have not received any child support.
In 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Canada explains that she hasn't received any child support for the past 3 years. She's here to demand accountability from the alleged father before we dive deeper into this case. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, so you don't miss more gripping courtroom stories like this one.
All right. Sir, is there a reason you haven't given her any child support in the past 3 years?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
What is that?
We've been discussing the paternity obligation.
Okay.
Under the circumstances, you know, I don't think I was the only person having a fling with Rocky at the time that you know, she and I had that time together. And,
Excuse me? Are you implying something?
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I understand that you may have been seeing some other people in addition to me. And the reason that I haven't provided
Well, those are rumors.
I understand
First of
that.
all.
I understand that.
Second
But
of
you
all.
haven't complied with my request for DNA test either, and that's my key.
The defendant responds, admitting there's been no support, but he questions the paternity of the child. He claims Miss Canada may have been seeing other people during the time they were involved. His key demand, a DNA test to confirm whether he's truly the father.
Is that if I have an obligation, I like to make sure it is my obligation and not the obligation of some other father.
Well, maybe you should have been obligated to your wife whenever you were having an affair with me.
You know, you're right about that. And honest
So
truth is
you are
that
admitting that you're married?
Miss Canada fires back, accusing him of avoiding responsibility, even been bringing up the affair they had while he was married. The courtroom atmosphere heats up as personal drama takes center stage.
you know, from my perspective, Your Honor, I certainly understand the situation. I'm not trying to be hard-hearted, so to speak, about this, but I think that there's some other questions that need to be answered before we agree on paying any kind of support, because at this point, we haven't confirmed whose child this is.
Okay. Well, I definitely have some questions.
The judge takes control, acknowledging the defendant's point. Without proof of paternity, the court cannot enforce child support. She asks if the defendant has taken any steps like signing documents or taking a ddNA test, but it's clear that hasn't happened.
The father. Okay. So he does have a valid point. Before we can actually place him on child support, he either has to accept parentage, which, according to what I'm hearing, you're really not accepting it.
He's in denial about his affair and doesn't want his wife to find out.
My wife knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
right.
knows now.
He's lying.
You told her?
I would have heard from her by now. I work with him, ma'am.
Oh. Yeah, he's entitled to a DNA test.
Sure.
Okay? So before we can move forward with anything in terms of child support, looking at your financial documents you provided, he first needs to get a DNA test. So what I can do is you guys go and get the DNA test, then you can come back at a later date.
The judge then lays out a solution. A DNA test will be arranged, and if the defendant is the father child, support will be enforced. If not, Miss Canada has the option to pursue the actual father. The emphasis is fairness, while ensuring the child's welfare is prioritized.
By any means, that what he's saying is true.
Right, he's
but
definitely
if he's
the
not
father.
the father, you can bring back as many people as necessary to get DNA.
The judge directs both parties to proceed with DNA testing through the Attorney General's office. This process is straightforward, efficient, and cost-free. It's a necessary step to resolve the matter. The case concludes with a key takeaway: child support obligations can only be enforced after paternity is established. Whether through a DNA test or legal acknowledgement of paternity, the court must have proof before moving forward.